Yo, here we are back again, once again, for my One Piece review of chapter 1055. This one was entitled The New Era, which also matches the song for the One Piece film Red movie, the theme song. This chapter was really good, man. It was really good because we got to see Shanks finally flex. That's just my PlayStation notification going off. We finally got to see Shanks flex his Conqueror's Haki. We know Whitebeard talked about how he was letting it run wild when he was aboard the Moby Dick, which was Whitebeard's flagship. But it was cool to see Shanks, pretty much flexing again in this chapter. This chapter picked up right where it left off with Greenbull versus the Samurai and Momonosuke. Momo was still telling Yamamoto to stay out of the fight. The reason why he was telling her to stay out of it, because he's like, if us samurai and myself can't protect this country without, you, Luffy, Zoro, and the rest, how can we ever be self-reliant against the world government or any type of Navy admiral who shows up? So he wanted her to stay out of the fight. And it was cool character development for Momo, but with what happens with Shanks kind of defeats that purpose, because it was still outside interference that scared Greenbull away. It wasn't just Greenbull being overpowered or outwitted by Momo, which I would have hoped Oda had done that. But this is kind of a little bit of a shot at Oda as well, because Oda could have had Momo develop his fruit power earlier in this arc. Arguably when he did decide to go ahead and turn older and fly Luffy back up to the island, he could have had Momo develop. Obviously Momo can't do what Kaido did at the end when he used his flaming drum attack against Luffy, when he engulfed his whole body in flames. Obviously Momo can't do that. That would be completely ridiculous for this 28-year-old character who just learned his devil fruit powers. But he could have probably done a better job with Momo developing along his 10 years of being with the Straw Hats. I know it's just I think 4 or 6 weeks in the manga timeline, but he could have had him develop a little bit more, so that way Momo could have done what he wanted to do himself and scare Greenbull away. But again, it's a great moment for Shanks, so I'm not going to take away from it. But this does put the admirals are equal to the Yonko agenda in the mud. It just does. No, they're not. They're not near that level. They're not on that level. They're nowhere near close to what a Yonko is. The basic flex, you have to understand what this means. When a Yonko just flexes Conqueror's Haki, it's only supposed to affect people who have a weak will. That's what it's always done inside the series. You saw it with Rayleigh in the auction house. You saw it with, again, when Shanks got aboard the Moby Dick. The lesser Whitebeard pirates fell out and fainted. But people like Marco and Jozu were not shaken by Shanks being on the ship. For a Navy admiral to be shaken by Shanks flexing his haki, that's weak. That is weak. That means Greenbull has a weak will. That means that he's not on that level. That means he's intimidated. This is arguably worse than Zoro scaring Monet. It's worse, because it's supposed to be a character who fights a Yonko if they're summoned to, and his showing is just cowardly. But moving past how cowardly Greenbull was, we do see that he has countermeasures for flames. He used his, I believe in the scanlation, it said fireproof woods. This one in the English and Viz is called Fire Break Forest. So he says that he has developed contingencies for his weakness. So obviously, since Aokiji could fight Akainu for 10 days, I guess he had contingencies as well, because we know that Ace's fire did cancel out Aokiji's ice. But if he could fight Akainu, who had a stronger, as Oda has said, the magma fruit has the strongest attack potential in the entire series. out of a Logia or out of any devil fruit power besides the Quake fruit, which can destroy the world. The magma is right there. So we see them fighting because again, Ryzo tried to use his fire escape, and the scanlation is called Fireball, which I think is better. But we see Ryzo gets stabbed and he gets his nutrients drained, just like King and Queen over in Udon, and then he basically ties up all the scabbards and Yamato because Momo told her not to fight. The lore part of the chapter is actually my favorite. I know there have been questions about why was Jack down there below the waves, seemingly without any type of trolley or pulley on him to pull him back up. Maybe Oda just didn't depict the entire picture. We know sometimes Oda leaves out details like that, and so he'll either address it in the SBS or he'll let the anime address it. But it could also be because this might be before Jack got his devil fruit, because we know he is a fisherman. We saw that when Zunisha knocked him into the water, he was down there waiting for them to come and get him, and so maybe they just dropped him in there and kept pulling him back up until he found the Royal Poneglyph, or again, as I said, this is before he got his devil fruit. But you see Law followed Robin and Sukiyaki down there to go see the old Wano, which is way below present day Wano Kuni. Law used his devil fruit to get inside of the glass picture to see old Wano as well. This answers Sanji's question, because when we were coming into it, he was like, why are the koi fish alive? Aren't they fresh water fish? They shouldn't be able to survive in salt water. And so that answers the question. But another question that arises is, okay, who built the walls around Wano Kuni? Was it someone who had Pika's stone fruit? Because we know in the past the old hag had the fruit Mr. Chu had, where she could change appearances, and so maybe somebody had the stone fruit. It would also make sense because that would be how you would, because basically everyone has said Wano looks like it's stitched together, so either it was a country puller, ogre, giant, or again maybe somebody had the stone fruit and they personally lifted up the land masses out of there with that fruit, so that way they wouldn't drown in the rainwater. But how does the rainwater get back into Wano? Because it doesn't rain all the time. So how does the rainwater get back into it? Is there a circulatory system? Because we know there is the gondola that allows you to get inside of Wano Kuni, besides going up the waterfall with the carp, like Luffy and Big Mom got into Wano. And so there's always that. And so that was a great part, because we are coming down towards the end of this series. And obviously Robin mentions that they found the third one. They only need one more until they can go to Raftel. And then we get a picture of what seems to be a giant cave going into Mount Fuji in the panel after she says that. And then he tells us Pluton is right below where they are, but he himself has never seen it, and nor has Kaido. But seemingly Kaido did say he was in Wano because it's Wano, so more than likely Kaido has seen Pluton. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, the last part is where we get Greenbull being scared by red-haired Shanks. So obviously, to me, it's a great chapter. I definitely enjoyed it. These stint of chapters since 1044 till 1055 have been great. I really don't have much to complain about. Hopefully, as I've said before, Oda wraps this up in a nice bow, and we get the rest of what we need from Wano before we move on to maybe Elbath or some of the other islands he's mentioned in the Road to Laugh-Tale book. So that's the review. I'll edit down what I need to. I'll get this out to y'all hopefully tonight with also 1054. So this is Madara signing out. Peace.